Hey everyone, welcome back. Let me ask you something. What 75 inches costs $3,300 and might just change your life? It's a dumb question. It's not even a riddle. But you know what? I'm just trying to figure out a clever way to get into this X950G from Sony. So let's cut the chit chat and get right into it. Damn, this thing is big. So you pop the top of the box like it shows here, and this is what you find, which is not much, to be honest with you. Outside of this setup guide is a bunch of literature you're probably not going to look at, some genuine Sony batteries for the remote, not Bexel, 4 screws, and hey, look at this, a new remote. At least it looks a little bit different. It's got this sort of faux brushed metal on the top, but I like the new look. I was really sick of the old Sony style remote. And then we have these two massive things, and you know what this means. It means this sucker is going to have a large footprint. It also means you definitely want to look at the quick start guide so you can figure out how to put these legs on. And it also means that you're going to want to have some help around because this is definitely a two-person job. Lower a little tab, slide out some foam, and that exposes the area where the legs go on. And these legs actually attach really simply. You just put them in, slide them up, that locks the leg down, and then you can set the TV down, and then we get to screwing. Ta-da! We have a TV set up, and that really wasn't all that difficult, to be honest with you. The TV does not weigh as much as I thought it would. Anyway, so on the back, not a ton to see here. Very kind of plain looking back with a nice little glossy strip that you'll never look at because it faces the back of the wall. But we do have a couple of recessed bays here for our inputs, and I think the only thing you really need to know here, there are 4 HDMI inputs. None of them are HDMI 2.1. Sorry, this TV does not support any of those HDMI 2.1 features like eARC or variable refresh rate. If you want to learn more about HDMI 2.1, click the link above. And then we've got some, nice sturdy legs with a little bit of cable management opportunity. You can route them down through here to hide them if you want to. Oh, and don't forget to plug it in. Oh, hey, one more thing. I almost missed this. Here's your onboard controls wrapped way around the back of the TV. Not particularly helpful, so don't lose the remote. All right, now we're getting somewhere. We've got the X950G facing forward on our big and beautiful BDI corridor media entertainment stand, and thank goodness we have a big entertainment stand because the footprint for this TV, as I inferred earlier, is massive. Yeah, I get it. It's a 75-inch TV. It's probably going to have something of a big footprint, but this seems a little bit extreme. We're talking about 56 inches from the left to the right edges, and then about 14 inches, over a foot in total depth. So you really need to have a lot of space if you're going to stand mount it. I also am thinking this is enough to accommodate most sound bars, although it's a little bit low slung. So really, I'm thinking a TV like this, you're going to put out the bucks. Maybe you put out the bucks to get it professionally wall mounted as well. It is a big TV. It's got a little bit of weight. I'm sure you could do it yourself, but overall, I think wall mounting better for this TV than stand mounting. The other thing I'm noticing right out of the box is pretty decent anti-glare or anti-reflective coating on this. It's not quite as good as the Samsung Q90 that we recently reviewed, and it's about on par with what we're seeing from the LG C9 and other OLED series televisions. So it's going to do a decent job in a room that's got some light pouring into it. Okay, so you power on the TV, you expect a little bit of a setup process. You can do it manually using your remote, or you can pull out your Android phone and use the Google app to pair to the television and carry out the process. You basically have to agree to a bunch of stuff. Why did I agree to ads? Anyway, after pressing a few buttons and a couple of security codes, it sets the TV up with your Google account information, and it'll even get it connected to the internet if you're not hardwired like we are. Then a few more accepting that you're going to tell Google everything about yourself and your viewing habits, and then you scan for channels, and we're almost off to the races. Now, I give Android TV a hard time, but I gotta say, I kind of enjoyed this setup process. All right, so now we're digging into Android TV in earnest, and it's way less laggy than it has been in the past. I think Sony upped the power of the chip that actually handles this interface. It's not really Sony's fault that Android TV has been sucking. It's really about the fact that Android TV tends to be kind of resource intensive. I like this layout though. I mean, I've got some Sling TV and HBO Now off on the left rail here, Netflix and YouTube up top. I'm presuming you can reorder this. We'll check that out for the full review. But yeah, you know, this works. Unfortunately though, it doesn't log you into your app. So just because you're logged into Netflix and HBO Now on your phone doesn't mean you're gonna be logged in once you connect to the TV with the Google app. That's just getting you into your Google account, I suppose. All right, so let's get into the settings. Now, Sony did make some changes this year to the names of the picture presets that they have. So by default, it's gonna be in the standard mode. We're gonna change that. You basically get Vivid, Standard, Cinema, and Custom, where you can go in and make some of your own settings adjustments. I'm going to recommend Cinema as the starting point because that's gonna be the most accurate setting outside of the box. Let's pop into advanced settings, and I'm just gonna go straight down to motion. By default, motion flow is set to a custom mode where you've got barely any influence on the smoothing of the picture at all. You can turn this off entirely, or you can leave it on an auto mode. I tend to like to turn it off. But I will say that if you turn it on and you keep these settings low, you'll avoid most instances of soap opera effect. You may also want to pop into the clarity section here. Don't mess with the sharpness. It's fine where it's at. Juicing it up will actually introduce noise. As for the reality creation, it's on auto by default. You can choose manual or turn it off entirely. It's for fineness and noise for realistic picture, it says. I'm gonna dig into this deeper for the full review and find out just how valuable it is. So a 75-inch TV, you'd expect it to be fairly expensive. I mean, they're way less than they used to be, but still, Sony is charging a $500 to $900 premium against competing models to the X950G. So what's inside is really going to matter, all that processing. We'll take a look at that in the full review. For this unboxing and basic setup, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the strides that Sony is making with the user interface. That's been a major pain point in the past, and it's getting better and better by running Android TV the way it ought to be run, with a really powerful processor. Also, this remote, I'm digging it the more I'm using it. It's got this sort of a cool texture on the back. So I'm getting a nice feel from the TV in general. I think it's very beautiful to look at, and I know the picture quality is going to be outstanding. The question really is, how's it going to compete against other TVs, some of which cost even less? Well, we'll find out when we come back for the full review. For now, know that I'm very excited about this TV, and I can't wait to share more with you. Everyone, thanks for watching. Come hang out with me in the comments section below. Let me know what you think of this TV versus what we've seen so far this year. Of course, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and definitely ring that bell so you know when I've got a new TV video coming out. In the meantime, here's 2 more videos we think that you'll like, and as always, come check out digitaltrends.com for the latest tech news and reviews.